How's it going, everyone? So the Green Bay Packers have defeated the Chicago Bears with a score 38-20, and I was pretty nervous going into this game because I wasn't entirely sure what to expect of either team, really. We had a new quarterback, obviously, and Jordan Love starting, what to expect from him. Then with this revamped defense from the Bears, and this is their year and all this other weird stuff that I still don't understand why there's a lot of hype around Justin Fields. But either way, there was a lot of question marks going to this game, so it was very nice to see. I didn't expect us to score 38 points, but us to pretty much go out there and show a lot of good things, even if it is against a weak Chicago Bear team. So to start off with, Jordan Love. Obviously, he was the focal point for most of this game. A lot of eyes on him. How is he going to be? What type of quarterback he's going to be? And I have a lot of hope after this game. We had some hope last year after what he showed flashes for a drive or two against the Eagles, but having a full game, being the QB1 in his second start of his career, he showed a lot of good things. So for the day, he was 15 for 27, 245 yards, a 9.1 average, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions with a 123.2 QB rating and was sacked once for 8 yards. So he had a really good day, all things considered, and he showed a lot of poise. He didn't seem to get startled, especially the main key play, what kind of cued me into this, and I saw some where he probably learned from Aaron Rodgers a little bit because he had some of his body mannerisms, was during the snap, and he fumbled it, but he was able to pick it up slightly, roll right, and just kind of lean back and throw it up to Luke Musgrave, who ended up catching it. It kind of reminded me back then when Aaron Rodgers was throwing deep to Randall Cobb. It reminded me a lot of that, but it showed that Jordan Love doesn't get rattled. And we've been hearing a lot of that from Jair Alexander, Matt LaFleur, and Aaron Jones, and a bunch of other people, that Jordan Love doesn't seem to get rattled. And I think that play right there was a very good testament to that, because a lot of players, especially in their first start, would get a little shaky. I was watching the game, I was like, all right, just throw it away. Like, the play's dead, but he ended up chucking deep, and I was like, who's down there? And here we go. We got Luke Musgrave wide open. So it's very great to see. Jordan Love wasn't perfect in this game. He still had some inaccuracies, but for the most part, he was actually pretty well on target. Like I said, there were a few misaccuracies, but for the most part, really on target. I think the line did a very good job in keeping a good pocket for him. And even when he got flushed out, he was cool, calm, and collected, and rolled out and tried to make plays where he could. So it was very good showing from Jordan Love. Now, as for the run game, a little frustrating on the fact that we don't use Aaron Jones enough. So for the day, Aaron Jones had 9 carries for 41 yards, a 4.6 average, and 1 touchdown, while A.J. Dillon had 13 carries for 19 yards, which ended up being a 1.5 yard average. And this is where the frustrating part kind of came in, because after the first drive, Aaron Jones is obviously cooking. He's running very well. Then for the subsequent 2-3 drives, he didn't even touch the ball. And it's like, we've seen this in the past. We kind of get away from Aaron Jones. It's like, all right, I understand we need to slightly mix it up, but let's not go completely away from Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is still a very huge part. This offense tends to go when he goes. So let's not take him out of the lineup. And A.J. Dillon just didn't have a good day. He looked very bad running the ball. And I think they also kind of put him in some bad sets where they gave him some plays that are really designed for A.J. Dillon. I don't understand, or not A.J. Dillon, for Aaron Jones. Because I don't really understand why we're going to do a little pitch to the left and make him do an outside run. He's not that type of back. He really isn't. He's a huge bruising back. Let's get under center, and I know this could become a tail, but you can mix it up. Matt LaFleur likes to say all the plays should look the same, especially under center where you have a guy motioning. You can put that into the sets, but run more run plays in single back or I formation, because this pistol or shotgun or the outside runs with A.J. Dillon doesn't seem to work very well. I understand we want to stretch left and right, but he's just not that type of back. So yes, A.J. Dillon, once again, he had a bad year last year, really. And then this first game didn't look very good, but I kind of also blame potentially, because I'm not sure if it's fully him or just some of the situational play calls they put him in and what packages. So We'll obviously be looking at him a lot because this is a contract year and we expect such big things out of AJ Dillon being a true like 1B running back for us to complement Aaron Jones. And really, it kind of feels like sometimes he's just taking away from Aaron Jones, who is obviously the engine to this whole offense. Now, moving on to the receivers, there were a lot of question marks going into this game of who was going to play, who was going to be out, because during the first injury report, we had our first 3 receivers currently not participating due to hamstring injuries. But at the end of the day, it looked like everyone suited up but Christian Watson, which was good to see. And for the most part, they had a pretty good day. So Aaron Jones was, once again, the engine to this whole thing. He did lead our team in reception yards. He had 2 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, on the second catch where he went for about 51 yards on the touchdown, it looked like he pulled his hamstring towards the tail end. So we're going to be monitoring that. And hopefully it's nothing severe. Then Luke Musgrave, 3 receptions, 50 yards. Jaden Reed, 2 receptions for 48 yards. And Dobbs, 4 receptions, 26 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One with a complete moss, which kind of, there's a lot of Aaron Rodgers memories still there, where it looked like Aaron Rodgers was throwing to Devontae Adams. That's what Jordan Love throwing to Romeo Dobbs on the side looked like. So obviously, I feel like Jordan Love really did learn a lot from Aaron Rodgers, and I am very appreciative of that because a lot of it kind of showed in this game, and Jordan Love and Romeo Dobbs are going to be filthy. Now for the defense, very, very great showing. Something I want to start off with that I saw from the defense was the fact they seem to be playing physical and with some tenacity. Like, I don't really remember seeing this from Green Bay defenses, which usually frustrated me, but there actually seemed to be a physical presence with this defense, which was really nice to see. Even though they didn't make every play, so the main one I'm going to point out is when Rudy Ford did get ran over by Khalil Herbert. He was still there. He didn't kind of like try to tackle him from the side. No, he put his body on the line and tried to tackle him. Yes, he got ran over, but he got right up and still made the tackle. So that was actually very nice to see from Rudy Ford. And this defense as a whole being very aggressive and very tenacious. And it's something I'm not really used to seeing out of Green Bay defenses. And hopefully this isn't just because we played the Bears and all the trash talking they were doing. This could be a season-long thing because it's just something Green Bay defenses have not had, and it's been very frustrating despite all the talent. There's just been no physicality. So for the defense, our leading tackler was Darnell Savage with 10 total tackles, 5 of them being solo and 1 tackle for loss. Keshawn Nixon also added 8 tackles, 7 of them solo. Didn't realize how great of a tackler he seemed to be. It was very nice. He seemed to be in almost every play, so good on him being a very great tackler over there. Rasul Douglas, 8 total tackles as well with 6 solo. Devondre Campbell, 7. And Quay Walker, 4 tackles. And also had a pick 6, which was very good to see. It was thrown right to him, but when he was going down to bring it back to the house and just absorbing a hit, looking like a running back, and just taking it for a touchdown was very amazing to see. Especially when the game was kind of already in hand. It pretty much just put it fully away for us. Devontae Wyatt, 3 total tackles, 2 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Had a great game, always to seem to be in the backfield, causing a lot of pressure amongst that Chicago Bear offensive line. They couldn't seem to handle our defensive front at all. So adding on to that, Lucas Van Ness, disruptor. And I'm shocked of how fast he is. Like, I knew he was fast. He ran, 4.58 40-yard dash. But when he noticed that Justin Fields was rolling out and going to scramble, it seems like he was faster than Justin Fields and caught up to him very easily and was able to lay down the sack on him. So that was very awesome to see, and it made sense of why we drafted this man. Like, that dude is insanely athletic and fast, and good heads-up play by him. So great to see that from him. Then, of course, Kenny Clark, disruptor again, had a half a sack. Carl Brooks got in there for a sack. And all in all, we had a very good defensive showing for the most part, especially against Justin Fields. Not as a passer, although we did limit him. 24 for 37, 216 yards, touchdown, and 1 pick, and had a 78.2 yard average. But we also did hold their run game a little bit better. The only asterisk to that is the fact that Justin Fields is very slippery and very mobile. So that was like the only downside, but I feel like it could have been a lot worse with how we generally play mobile quarterbacks and we struggle severely against them. We kind of held them in check, in my opinion. 9 carries, 59 yards for a 6.6 yard average on the ground for Justin Fields, which is very good because that man is very fast. And even during the game, I'm shocked it was only 59 yards because it seemed like he was constantly evading our defenders and going for first down and getting extra yards when he did scramble. Like, there was a time, I believe it was Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt had a potential sack on him, and he just slipped away and went for a first down. So, despite the eye test and seeing how he seems to be running up all over us, 9 carries, 59 yards is very good to put Justin Fields in check because that guy is pretty much a running back for the most part, and we did our part. We made him try to beat us through the air, and he couldn't do it. And it's going to be hard, especially when we have defenders like Jair and Razul in the back. Safety was a question mark. I think they did pretty well, and for the most part, the defensive back group did a very good job. There was one miscommunication, it looked like, between Razul Douglas and Keshawn Nixon, which allowed Darnell Mooney to get a long touchdown wide open in the end zone. But otherwise, they pretty much did a really good job in doing their job. So good all around on the defense. Now, lastly, onto the special teams portions of it. Anders Carlson, I was nervous as hell when he came up to line up for a 52-yard field goal, and that dude's got a boot. Pretty much right down the middle. Very glad to see. Hopefully he can continue that and have some consistency, because when I was watching the game, and I literally said, I don't trust this, and dude pretty much told me to shut up and kicked it right down the middle and probably could have made it from 60. So very good to see from Anders Carlson. Glad he could make that, and hopefully he continues it throughout the season. Then lastly, for some notable stats and injury updates that we have, the Packers on third down were 9 for 16, and on fourth down were 1 for 2, and they had 329 total yards on the field. So as for the injury update that we know so far, Aaron Jones went out and was pulled up after that long reception touchdown with a hamstring injury. He was kind of looked on the sideline like he was kind of smiling, and there had been reports that he told teammates it wasn't a serious injury, and hopefully that's true. But as of right now, he had a hamstring injury, and hopefully it's not serious. It was a hot and humid day over there in Chicago, so that could have played a part. Jaden Reed also went out at one point, but his was nothing serious. It seemed like it was just cramps, and he was back out there, especially during an onside kick, so he should be fine and good to go next week, pending how this week for practice goes, of course. And Quay Walker on the pick 6 return that unfortunately, when he got hit towards the end by right tackle Darnell Wright of the Chicago Bears, I guess his head hit the ground a little hard and he was removed from the game and was out due to a concussion. So he's going to have to go through the concussion protocol this week, and hopefully he'll be able to clear that and be good to go next week against the Atlanta Falcons. But that about wraps everything up about our 38-20 victory over the Chicago Bears. Next week, we are still on the road going to Atlanta playing the Falcons. Hopefully, we can get a dub there. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.